What's up, everyone? So welcome to the very first episode of the Shady Corner, featuring the people, places, and spaces of the greater Shady Hollow community. My first interview, my name is David Schneider. I'm with the Revel Property Group, and here I have one of the top insurance agents in the city of Austin. That's Paul Guerrero of Allstate. Paul, you and I have had a relationship for, over a decade. You're my personal insurance agent, and we've been doing business together for, like I said, over 10 years. So thank you for joining me today. And Paul, I know you're one of the hardest working insurance agents in the city. One that you do property tours. We just got back from one. Mm-hmm. You deliver cookies to agents. You always answer your phone. And my question is, how do you balance all of that with still having a family life?
I have a very understanding wife.
That's great.
History is my father was an insurance agent for Allstate. Her dad was an Allstate insurance agent. So we've both been raised in chaos. And so she understands the life of an insurance agent. She understands that storms never come through between 8 and 5. So she totally gets it. And that's why it works so well. And she was an Allstate agent that I met in Chicago as well.
So she knows the business.
She knows the business. So she gets it. And, it's frustrating at times, but when things happen, she allows me to go ahead and show up and take care of it.
And that's awesome for your clients,
yes,
like me.
It is, yeah.
So some people say insurance is boring, not me, but let's put that myth to bed.
Okay.
Why is insurance, in fact, not boring, but meaningful in people's lives?
Well, no one ever calls me and asks what their premium is when something bad has happened. They only call in between those cycles. But when something bad is happening, they want to talk to a person. They want to talk to them now, and they don't want to go through an 800 number. Yep. And so what makes my job fun is when things go bad, I get to talk to people. I get to be there for them whenever things are going bad and they're having the worst day of their lives. And I get to be there for them whenever things are fixed and they're back in their normal life again. So it's fun for me because I get to see so many different things. And no day is the same because you've got hail, you've got wind, you've got thunderstorms, you've got flooding, you've got car wrecks, you've got lawsuits. And so every day is something new in my business, and I just love it. I'm passionate about it. And, every day is new. It's fun.
And that's awesome. Yeah. And I imagine you talk to people maybe on some of the worst days of their lives.
Yes.
How do you handle when they come at you with maybe just a little bit of stress?
Yeah. I'm a very patient person and an understanding person because I've been through some pretty bad claims myself.
Yep.
And so in most situations, I can relate with clients when water's pouring through their ceiling and they're freaking out. I've had situations where a tree fell in my own personal house.
Yep.
I'm freaking out. I've been through some pretty good lawsuits in my past, and I've been through some bad car accidents. So because I've been through these situations, I can kind of relate to what's going on and understand what's happening.
And keep them calm, because that's important. All right, can you tell me one of the oddest or wackiest claims you've ever gotten from one of your clients?
I can. So I became an agent in 2005. And at that time, Chevy Camaro was going through a transition in body styles.
Yep.
Okay. And I had a kid who I wrote when I was first an agent. Uh-huh. And he bought the old version of the Camaro. Okay. Mm-hmm. And he came in about 6 months later after writing the policy and said, "Hey, my car's totaled. It's got really bad hail damage." And I was like, "Okay, sounds good. It hasn't been a hailstorm in a while, but okay." And so we file a claim for him. And then Allstate comes back and says, "Hey, listen, this might be a fraudulent situation. Do you want to talk to him before we continue his claim?" So I call the guy, "Hey, there's some fraud, there's potential fraud. Is everything okay? Do you think I should know?" He goes, "No, you know what you're talking about." And I was like, "Okay." So Allstate then, because we do have people who do this for a living, as far as investigations go, come to find out this kid had taken about 100 golf balls. He put them inside of a pillowcase and just beat his car with the pillowcase all over his car, busting his windows out because he thought he could total his car out to get the new version of the Camaro. So he wanted the new body style that had just come out, and he thought by beating his car to death, he would get
with golf balls.
With golf balls, yeah. And so unfortunately, the hits in the car were the same size all over the car, and unfortunately, it was a he ended up admitting that he did do that. Because you could literally see, you couldn't see the brand of the ball, but you could see the balls all over his car. And so that's one of the craziest ones I've been.
Insurance fraud is not something you want to get charged with.
It is not. And what's funny, insurance fraud, like the percentage of insurance fraud is over 50%. Every claim is filed, over 50% of them are insurance fraud. Isn't that crazy?
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's a high number.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So if a tree falls in a forest,
Okay.
and no one is around to hear it, but it falls on my house, am I covered?
And
No, and
if
that's
you own a forest, then yes. So so the big deal about the snowmageddon and ice-mageddon that we've had is if I have a house and you're my neighbor and your tree falls on my house and it was a perfectly healthy tree, then my insurance is responsible. And that's kind of crazy for people to understand, but you didn't cause the tree to fall.
No.
The windstorm or the ice caused that tree to fall on my house. So the cause of the storm, the cause of the damage is actually the wind, and
Not
wind
the
is
tree.
covered by my insurance. Correct.
Okay.
Now, there is a way out of that. If that tree is hanging over my house and I've told you to cut it back, and I've documented that I've told you to cut it back, then you have a case to say that your insurance should pay for my house. Or if that tree is dead and we know it's dead and I told you to cut it back and it falls on my house, then that would be covered by your insurance. Okay.
Got it.
That's the little caveat in the middle of all that kind of stuff is that, so if your tree falls on my house, then your insurance pays for it. If my tree falls on my house, obviously my insurance pays for it.
got it.
So so as long as you own the forest, then the tree that falls down would be covered. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know you go green, and when I say green, I'm talking football. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about your relationship with Austin's Verde, Austin's own football club.
So I have found the perfect seat at the stadium.
No.
Okay? The perfect seat. So I've done the end zone, opposite end zone, the crazy section. I've done near the end zone, but the best section at Austin Verde is right next to crazies. So here's the crazies. And
I know the
right here.
crazies.
Yep. If you're the section next to them, then you're protected from the water throwing, and you don't have to sit. You don't have to stand up the entire time. But that's the perfect section because you get a piece of the crazy, but you don't have to stand the whole time, and you don't get water.
You're crazy adjacent.
Exactly, crazy adjacent. Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I've had the best time. I've gone to 2 matches in the last 2 years, and oh my God, it's great. So do you go every time?
I go as many games as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Allstate has like a corporate sponsorship there, so whenever they have
Whenever you
extra
can.
tickets, I get to go. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, tell me about your business goals for this year. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish?
Well, I am trying to survive this year. So as you probably know,
Yep.
in our industry, there's more car accidents than we've ever seen in history. There's more lawsuits than we've ever seen in history, and we've had now 3 catastrophic storms here in Austin this year. But last year we had some major storms. So because of the cost of because of inflation, because of parts unavailability, and because of the lawsuits, we are so busy right now dealing with lawsuits and dealing with claims that rates have gone up in Texas. And so right now I'm having a lot of conversations with customers.
We just had that conversation, didn't we?
Yep, rates are going up in Texas. Unfortunately, I had a customer today who barely scratched a pole, and she's like, "Oh, I can buff it out," and she took it to the body shop, and it was $3,500 because it hit a sensor, and that sensor cost $2,000 a fix.
Wow.
So I love all the new sensors the car companies are coming out with, but people are still getting in car accidents.
Yeah.
And now a bumper went from $500 to $5,000.
Yeah.
And so we're dealing with a lot of that right now, and we're dealing with a lot of big storms. So unfortunately, rates. And so I'm dealing with a lot of people right now. So we're just treading water right now, trying to stay ahead of the game. But right now,
does that make it hard to market for new business?
it does make it hard to market for new business. But I have 15 amazing staff here that allow me to be able to go out and do my thing, which is cookies, property tours.
It's just building relationships, right?
Exactly. So they do that, and I'm able to focus on the business and the marketing side of it and the claim side of it. So I deal with a lot of claims as well. It's kind of my side. So.
That's you. All right. So I follow you on Instagram, and there's a picture of you dancing with your wife on the beach. I think you're dipping her.
I think I'm dipping her. Yeah.
Tell me about that picture.
Like I said, my parents are Allstaters. Her parents are Allstaters. They won a lot of trips. They're big producers, and so we are used to winning a lot of trips. And because of the economy right now, Allstate's pretty much cut all the trips out. So we're trying to find ways to focus on our marriage. We have 4 beautiful daughters. Beautiful daughters that are very expensive and take up all of our lives. So we try to find time for me and her to get away by ourselves. And that's in Jamaica. So we went to Jamaica and found this amazing hotel called The Plantation. And it is a adults only, super quiet. And we just sat there on the pier and listened to the waves. And so we are just taking some fun pictures while we were doing that and just having some fun, just me and her by ourselves, focusing on our marriage.
The picture just spoke 1,000 words. It was really beautiful.
Yeah, we loved it. It was so much fun.
All right, my last question. At the end of the day, what motivates you most?
Oh, man, I have gotten to a point in my life where I want for nothing. Okay, I have what I need in this life. I've got 4 healthy children. I have a shelter over my head. I've got a good business that runs by itself. At this point, what drives me is really helping my staff and my people. I know that's kind of corny, but I love most of my staff here were waiters. They were just random stuff. Bartenders. I've got a lot of cool people who have no insurance experience. One of my biggest employees, Julia, was Jehovah's Witness, walked in one day. Her dad was like, I'm a customer of yours. And she was 17 years old. And now she's 25 and she's making well over $100,000. So I just love my team just
gave her a life,
moving up
gave her a
life.
career.
Exactly. And so I just love my team moving up in the world, you know what I mean? Giving people opportunities, giving jobs to people. Selena, who you met, my office manager.
She's awesome.
She's got a story that you would never believe involving drugs and rehab. And she came out, she turned her life over, and now she runs my operations. And so
that's amazing.
I just have so many cool stories like that. So I love giving to others. My team is super giving. So the other day we did a huge homeless bag giveaway. So we all my team came in here with hundreds of dollars of stuff and filled bags up. And so they have the mentality as well of helping others as well. So I just have an amazing team. And so what drives me is it's helping people and improving people's lives. So,
You're a servant leader, aren't you?
Yeah, I try.
Well, you do it well. So before we wrap up, if someone wanted to get insurance or a quote, how do they get in touch with you?
My cell phone number is where everyone starts with. You can call my office, obviously, at 512-441-8597. But most people go through my cell phone. They want to talk to the guy on the paper. They want to talk to the guy. And so I talk to most people up front, and then I transition to my team. But my cell phone number is 512-541-0970. And if I don't answer, I will call you right back. And so it's pretty much what I do.
That's been my experience. He's always either answered or called me right back or texted, I'll be with you in a second. So again, one of the hardest working insurance agents in the business. So that's it for this episode, the first episode of the Shady Corner. If you like the show, hit the like button. If you didn't like the show, hit the dislike button. Go ahead. If you have questions or feedbacks or opinions that you want to share, comment below, please. And if you know someone who should see it, share it. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. If you want to get in touch with me, again, I'm David Schneider. I'm with the Revel Property Group of eXp Realty. You can look me up online. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Great, brother.